In this section, I'm going to talk about route summarization and filtering in Eigrp. And for this, I'm going to do I'm going to show you two different scenarios. In one scenario, I'm going to put backbone 1 in the same AS that I have, and in the second scenario, I'm going to change the backbone 1 and router 3's connection and put them into another AS number. So let's go to the first scenario. I have, assigned the delta number 100 to the frame relay connection between these two, and I have a full connectivity between these two because I am, relying on the dynamic mappings that frame relay will provide for us. So let's go to router 3 and go to router Eigrp 100 and add the network 3 to this process. And of course I'm going to do the same thing on router backbone. So I go to configuration mode, I start router Eigrp process 100 AS100. No auto summary is going to be here, and the network 254 is going to be in this Eigrp process. Now that you can see that I have the adjacency, let's check the IP route table. If I check the IP route table, I can see that every route in my network is present in my backbone area. Now, my backbone area does not have to have such a big routing table. Of course, this is not such a big routing table, but whenever you have a large network, you can see that a lot of routes are in your routing table, and in this case it is not necessary because backbone 1 has only one route to reach every other route in my network, that is the frame relay connection. So backbone 1 can have only one summary route for every route that is in this network. So how can I add a summary network to backbone 1's routing table? I can go to router 3 and under interface configuration add a summary address and tell backbone 1 that this is the summary address that you need. You do not have to install all those routes in your routing table and go to the burden of checking the routing table and bothering yourself to find everything. So let's go to router 3 and go to interface serial 01. That is the interface that is connected to backbone, and now you can see that I have IP summary address here. Under IP summary address I can assign that this is an Eigrp and it is for Eigrp 100, and now I can assign the summary. I know that every route in my network starts with 10.0, and I know that I'm not going to assign an exact summary. I know that everything is in 10.0.0.0 network, and now I should assign a network mask that's gonna be 255.255.0.0. And now at last I can add some other options such as lake map. I'm not going to talk about lake map right now. In next sections I guess I'm going to talk about them. I can add an administrative distance for this. If I do not add an administrative distance, by default it will be 5, but if I want this network ID to have less preferred administrative distance, I can assign a high number to this. So that's okay for me. I hit OK, and now I have sent the summary address. You can see that it is resynchronizing because it is withdrawing all the routes that I have sent to backbone 1. Now if I go to backbone 1 and check the routing table, you can see that I only have one summary address to reach all those networks, and that's this 10.0.0.16. And you can see I have 110 network without any summaries. So if I want to have a summary address for these, I can go to router 3 and assign the same thing here. So I'm going to have 110 and this is 1, and hit enter, and you can see that after this another synchronization is going to happen. And if I check backbone 1, I can see only 2 summary addresses in my network. Now, do I have connectivity to my network or not? If I do ping, for example, 110.1.1.1, you can see that connectivity is okay because I know that this is part of this summary address, and I know that how I should send this packet and receive the reply of this. So this is the very simple type of summarization, and it contains filtering under it. So I have this. Now you see that I only have two routes here, and these two are the summaries to my network. Now what happens if I want to have a specific route in my routing table in Backbone? For example, I want to have a summary to my loopback interfaces, but I want router 3's interface to be present in Backbone 1. So I can use a leak map for this. A leak map is a route map. So if I go to interface serial 01 and check the, of course not in this, I press Ctrl X, I should go to router 3. If I go here, I can see that there is a leak map available here that I need to add a route map for this. So I type in leak map as the name, and you can see that it is in capital, and everything is capital is my names. So this is the name of leak map, and you can see that I should hit enter. Now that I have this, I should go and start typing the leak map. So I type in a route map, and the name of the route map is leak map, and I'm going to have the permit 10 sequence here. Now I should match or add some kind of prefix list, access list or interface to the interface that I need. I'm going to match IP address, and it's going to be a prefix list, and it's going to be loopback 0. So I hit enter, and every other route is going to be denied because I do not add anything to the end of my route map. And you know that in the end of any route map, access list or prefix list, we have an implicit deny. So let's go create the prefix list loopback. So IP prefix list loopback 0 is going to have a sequence 5 that permits 110 1 3 0 if I want to have the network, or if I want to have just exact route I can type in 3 3, but I know that this is a network in my routing table, so that's going to be a /24, and I'm not going to add any more or less subnet masks. So I hit enter, and that's it. Now if I go to Backbone 1 and check the routing table here by showing IP route, I should see in addition to the 110 network, of course I do not see this. I should go and check this again because this should have a synchronization here. So let's go back to router 3 and see what is the problem. Show running of section route map tells me that I have one route map and it matches the prefix list loopback 0, and I know that the prefix list loopback 0 has only one permit, and it is 110.1.0.3.0, and it's 24-bit. And let's see the run of interface serial 01, and I should see that I have a leak map here, and that's it. So let's enable this again by going to interface serial 01. I type in no IP summary address, and let's say the running config right now. Now I am going to add this summary address here. So I type in this and I use the leak map, and now I have another resynchronization, and let's go to BB1 and see the result. Now I see that I only have one summary address to the whole loopback interfaces, but I can see my router threes loopback in full here. This is because I assigned the lake map to my configuration, and now backbone 1 knows how to reach to router 3's backbone router 3's loopback 0 interface, and it has an explicit routing table, and because its subnet mask has a greater value than the summary, it is preferred. So if it does not find any other information about the destination, it will refer to the summary address here. So I created a summary address, and by default it filters out every route that is summarizing it. And of course I can add lake map to link some of those addresses that is going to be summarized, and it can be found in the other routing table.